Hey guys. So we've been talking a lot about Jungian depth psychology, and the reason why is because I'm trying to enlighten everyone about how human nature works. And I will be doing plenty of other videos on depth psychology, but I've been getting a lot of questions on Twitter and questions on Discord about how human nurture comes into play with people's personalities or human behavior. So I do have plenty of models that we can draw upon to help explain the human nurture side of things. So let's actually talk about that. So this video is going to be about human nature versus human nurture, right? So imagine a human being is like a Venn diagram. You got two circles, and they come together, and then they have the center area with these two circles, right? Well, the two circles, this would be human nature, this would be human nurture coming together, and then you have the human being in the center, right? And then obviously you can add like the environment as another circle underneath, and then like a fourth circle for like their spiritual belief system, etc. Or the metaphysical realm, what have you. But again, these four pieces make up a human being, mentally, right? And personality type, it makes up the human nature component. And while knowing someone's nature is great, it's not the whole picture. It's probably up to 60% of a human being's total psyche is their nature. But you still have the other 40% of nurture that needs to be explored. So for example, let's say you're talking to an ISTJ or an ESTP and they're like, oh hey, you're putting me in a box and I don't believe what you're saying because you're just putting people in boxes and categorizing people. You don't actually know me and you don't know people. You don't know anything. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, that happens and that's like a normal thing, but I know your nature. If I know your nature, then I basically know you. But the reason why people have this complaint is because they're complaining about, well, you don't know where I was born, you don't know what my favorite color is, you don't know anything like that, right? So, sorry if it's a little loud here, but, I mean, it is outside, so trying to get some sun today. Why? Why is that relevant? It's relevant because in order to really know somebody, you have to have the full package, right? Well, knowing type and knowing their nature really could shed about 10 years of time off of being, let's see here, having a relationship with somebody. Like you meet a woman or you meet a guy, and you get married and whatnot, but knowing type ahead of time basically means you have the opportunity to really know somebody that would take you to figure out those things 10 years, be just off their nature. If you know type, then you can actually fast forward and really really only need to focus on their nurture, right? Where were they born? What's their favorite color? What cars do they like to drive? What's their cultural heritage? What's their ethnicity? What traditions do they have? What traditions do they avoid? Do they go to church? Do they not go to church? Etc., right? All of those things are what make up human nurture. And that's this side of the equation. The Big Five test really focuses a lot on nurture. That's why they have their little indices for things like narcissism, for example, which I'm sure I probably score like super high at. I mean, let's be honest, I'm an ENTP, right? Of course I'd score like super high on the narcissism, I'm sure. But, I mean, these labels are not like the most ideal thing, according to these people, so... And they claim it's all about human nature. It's not. They're testing for nurture. That's just how it is. So anyway, nurture can also be measured. So imagine you had a social media app, right? And somehow like every single person on Facebook, right? You knew their type. Well, then you could figure out, or an Amazon. Imagine if you had an Amazon Prime account, and every Amazon Prime account, all of the types of the people using that Amazon Prime account, right? Thus, you can take that data and correlate it directly to their purchasing and their buying decisions, right? purchasing and buying decisions in that way allows you to potentially predict their behavior and kind of understand their nurture, not just their nature. And you can also find out what preferences their nature has when it comes to their nurture, right? Just based off of their purchasing decisions. That'd be a really scary thing if that actually existed, if that technology went into place. If someone took depth psychology in this way and deployed it on a macro level, on a social media level, where every single person using the system would basically, what type they are, right? That'd be a problem. So, kind of gets you kind of more concerned about, privacy. You know what I mean? Because then, depth psychology is basically a form of telepathy on paper. You're literally reading people's minds by reading their nature. And you're able to start gathering data on their behavior to help build an understanding of their nurture. That's super risky. That's a very Orwellian future for the world, if you know what I mean. And quite frankly, it may be inevitable as technology develops. Who knows? So, anyway, this video is mostly just an introduction on the differences between human nature and human nurture when we're talking about psychology. I'm going to be expanding on human nurture a lot on this channel, and I'm going to be doing playlists or series, as I call them, on different components of human nurture. I'm going to be talking about attraction, intimacy, basic human relationships, the differences between love and respect. I'm also going to be talking about, let's see here, there's some other components. I've developed a theorem on human attraction and human intimacy based on governing dynamics according to John Nash, also known as game theory, for example. So we'll actually be utilizing game theory and depth psychology, personality type, typology to help explain human nurture behaviors. We're going to be doing deep dives into that as well. That way, as an aspiring social engineer, you have a wider view of the force, right? Everyone's trying to be, focused on this or that, or say that this test is the entire answer. I mean, it's not, guys. It's really not. If you're really going to be developing yourself as a social engineer or someone who can really interface or fit in to any social situation, that even includes cold approach pickup. If you're trying to do to pick up a woman, for example, or pick up a guy in any situation on the street or in a bar or someone you've never met before, etc., but you're really interested in them, all of this will tie together. And we're going to be exploring the human nurture component alongside the human nature component. So this doesn't mean I'm going to be slowing down on my personality type or depth psychology videos, but we're also going to be looking at how relationships work at a mechanical level on the nurture side. We're going to be looking at how manhood actually works, what's known as the mature masculinity or the sacred masculinity. We'll also be looking at mature femininity and sacred femininity, as it is extremely important to our culture, especially because people are so concerned about patriarchy, or they're so concerned about feminism and all these different super pro-female, super pro-male ways of living life that's destroying our culture at the seams, right? We're going to be talking about those and how to navigate that land and basically become something more. Instead of just following the bouncing ball like everyone else, you'll actually have wisdom that you can utilize to help really separate yourself out from the crowd. And again, this is applied anywhere. Relationships, business, sales, anything, literally anything, family, church, wherever human beings are, it works, it applies. So that's all. I just really want to do this introduction video to just show you guys that there's going to be a lot more content that we're going to be covering in this channel, especially since people have been consistently asking me about it on Twitter over the last couple of days. So Anyway, thank you all for your support. We got many more subscribers today, which is fantastic, and I'm very thankful for this community. So let's keep going and see what we can do with each other and for each other. If you found this video helpful or educational, please hit a like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, go ahead and leave it in the comments and I'll talk to you. Otherwise, I'll probably see you guys later today. I got a couple other videos planned, so see you then.